Imagine for just a moment that every dream you've ever had is not a fleeting wish, but a message pointing you toward the person you were meant to become. Most of us, somewhere along the way, are told to be realistic. We are told to shrink our vision to fit the world we see around us. But the truth, my friends, is that the world has always bent to the will of those who dared to dream bigger than anyone thought possible. Greatness begins the moment we decide not to silence those quiet voices within us, those whispers that say, "There's more for you." The difference between those who live ordinary lives and those who live extraordinary ones is not chance, and it is not luck. It is vision. Every invention, every discovery, every masterpiece began with someone willing to hold on to a dream when the rest of the world told them to let go. Your dreams are not accidents, they are blueprints. They are not to be buried under fear or doubt, but brought into the light through persistence and belief. When you dare to dream big, you awaken a power within yourself that is far greater than any obstacle you will face. But dreams are fragile when left unguarded. The world has a way of whispering back at you, "You can't. You won't. Who do you think you are?" That is the moment you must refuse to quiet your dreams. For if you quiet them long enough, they will grow silent. And a silent dream is a life unlived. Think of the farmer who plants a seed. He doesn't look at the soil the next morning and say, "Where is my harvest?" He knows that growth is a process, that patience is part of the journey. Your dream, too, requires time. It needs nurturing faith and consistent effort. Every step you take toward it, no matter how small, is proof that you believe in what you cannot yet see. That is faith in action. Now remember this: mediocrity is the default of those who never dream. But prosperity, fulfillment, purpose, these belong to those who dare to imagine life not as it is, but as it could be. The world does not need more quiet dreams. It needs voices willing to speak them, lives willing to pursue them, and hearts willing to believe in them, even when the road ahead is uncertain. So, as you go forward, hold your dream like a torch in the dark. Do not trade it for comfort. Do not silence it for approval. Do not bury it under fear. For it is your dream that will carry you through the storms of doubt, your dream that will separate you from the crowd, your dream that will give your life its true direction. Dream big and never quiet your dreams. Most people walk through life half asleep. They rise each morning, follow the same routine, and repeat the same cycle day after day, never once pausing to ask themselves the simplest of questions: what do I truly want? They do what they believe is expected. They live according to the blueprint someone else handed to them, and they mistake existence for living. Yet within every one of us lies a vision, often faint, often ignored, that calls us to something greater. That vision is our dream, and the tragedy is not that most people aim too high and miss, but that they aim too low and hit. Think carefully about this. Every great achievement in history was once nothing more than an idea in the mind of a single person. Airplanes, electric light, the printing press, the device you carry in your pocket, all of it began as a dream. At the time, these ideas seemed impossible, even ridiculous, to the world around them. But the individuals who carried those dreams refused to silence them. They did not quiet the voice inside that whispered, "There must be a way." They held on to their vision even when no one else could see it. And because of that, they altered the course of humanity. The mistake most people make is believing their dreams are mere fantasies. They dismiss them as wishful thinking, as illusions meant only for the lucky or the gifted. But a dream is not fantasy. A dream is potential waiting to be claimed. It is a seed hidden in the soil of your mind, containing within it everything it needs to become real. What it requires is faith, discipline, and the willingness to act. Just as the seed must be planted, watered, and nurtured, your dream must be fed with belief and effort until it grows strong enough to stand on its own. Ask yourself, what dream have you silenced? What vision have you buried beneath fear, doubt, or the opinions of others? Most people abandon their dreams not because they are impossible, but because they are inconvenient. It is easier to accept the security of what we already know than to risk the uncertainty of the unknown. And so, we convince ourselves that we never truly wanted that dream in the first place. We trade greatness for comfort. We surrender the extraordinary for the ordinary, and in doing so, we live half of the life we were meant to live. But here is the lesson: the size of your dream determines the size of your life. Dream small, and you live within small boundaries. Dream big, and you expand the horizons of what is possible for you. When you dare to dream beyond the limits of your current circumstances, you activate a force within yourself that draws new ideas, new people, and new opportunities into your life. What once seemed out of reach begins to move closer, step by step, because you set your sights higher than where you stand today. Now understand this: your dream is not meant to impress others. It is not meant to conform to their approval. It is meant to guide you toward your purpose. Too often we quiet our dreams because we fear ridicule or we crave acceptance. We forget that every great innovator, every pioneer, was once considered unreasonable. But progress is never made by those who blend in. It is made by those who stand apart. To quiet your dream is to silence your own potential. To dismiss your dream is to deny the very thing that makes you unique. Every child is born with imagination. Watch how they play, how they see the world without limits. To them, everything is possible. But as we grow, society tells us to be practical, to stop imagining, to put away childish things. Slowly, we trade our imagination for conformity. We are taught to suppress the very tool that creates progress. Yet the most successful individuals are those who never let go of that childlike ability to dream. They dared to imagine what could be, rather than settling for what already was. So let me tell you, your dreams matter. They are not random. They are signals of what your life could become if you were bold enough to pursue them. They are reminders that you are capable of more than the life you may be living right now. They are invitations to grow, to stretch, to step beyond your comfort zone. The question is not whether your dream is possible. The question is whether you are willing to do what is required to make it possible. Do not quiet that voice. Do not shrink that vision. It is better to chase a dream and fall short than to silence it and never know what might have been. For in chasing the dream, you become more than you were yesterday. You learn, you grow, you discover strength you did not know you had. And even if you never fully reach the dream, you will reach a life far richer, far more meaningful than the one you would have had by doing nothing. Every person alive today stands on a foundation built by dreamers who refused to surrender their vision. The roads we travel, the buildings we admire, the medicine that saves our lives, the art that inspires us, all of it began as a spark of thought in the human mind. The remarkable thing is that at the time, none of these ideas were obvious. They were radical, untested, even ridiculed. Yet someone somewhere believed enough to hold fast to an image that others could not see. They understood something most never learn, that the difference between what exists and what is possible is often nothing more than the courage to continue. Consider how easily the average person abandons their vision. They may begin with enthusiasm, even excitement, but when faced with the first obstacle, their determination weakens. They mistake difficulty for impossibility. They think resistance is a sign they should turn back. But difficulty is not the enemy of your dream. It is the confirmation that your dream is worth pursuing. Anything truly valuable is protected by obstacles, and those who are willing to move through them earn what others never will. It is not talent alone that builds a great life. History is filled with gifted individuals who squandered their potential because they would not persist. What separates the extraordinary from the ordinary is not brilliance but endurance. The one who endures, the one who continues to walk forward when others stop, is the one who transforms a dream into reality. A dream, no matter how beautiful, remains nothing more than a pleasant thought without the discipline to pursue it daily. The human mind is the most powerful tool in existence. With it, we can imagine a world that does not yet exist, and then step into it. But imagination is only the first step. The second and more demanding step is the decision to remain loyal to that vision when the external world has not yet given you a single reason to believe. This loyalty to your dream is the birthplace of all progress. Without it, the world would remain stagnant, unchanged, repeating the same patterns forever. The danger lies in believing that the majority must be right simply because they are the majority. Look closely at history, and you'll see the majority has always doubted the visionary. When men spoke of flight, they were laughed at. When electricity was proposed as a means to power cities, it was dismissed as dangerous folly. When new frontiers are suggested, they are almost always greeted with resistance. Yet time has proven again and again that it is not the crowd that shapes the future, but the individual who dares to hold a dream long enough for the rest of the world to catch up. And so, The question you must ask yourself is this: how loyal are you to your own vision? When the voices around you say it cannot be done, will you agree with them, or will you continue? When your progress feels slow, will you abandon the journey, or will you stay the course? To live a life without dreams is to surrender to mediocrity before you've even begun. But to hold a dream, to nurture it, and to refuse to quiet it, that is the path to a life filled with meaning and achievement. One of the greatest tragedies is not the failure of a dream, but the burial of it before it has a chance to grow. Too many people let their visions die in silence, never voiced, never acted upon, never pursued. They carry their greatest potential with them to the grave, leaving the world poor for what they withheld. Imagine if the inventors, the creators, the artists, the thinkers who came before us had silenced themselves. Imagine if they had believed the doubters, if they had abandoned their dreams at the first sign of difficulty. The world you know today would not exist. And yet, though we recognize this truth when looking back at history, we often fail to apply it to our own lives. We believe that greatness belongs to others but not to us, that the courage to dream belongs to the exceptional few. But the truth is, the power to dream and to act upon that dream is given to every person. It is not a question of privilege or luck. It is a question of choice. You either choose to pursue your dream, or you choose to quiet it. Both choices have consequences, and both will shape your destiny. So let this be clear. The difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one is not found in circumstance, but in vision and persistence. The ordinary person quiets their dreams to fit the world they see. The extraordinary person holds their dream until the world adjusts to fit it. And that is the great secret: the world has always been reshaped, redefined, and renewed by those who refuse to quiet the dream inside them. There comes a point in every person's life when they hear a voice that tells them they cannot go further. It does not always come from outside. Often, it rises from within. It is the quiet doubt, the nagging thought that says, "You are not enough. Who are you to believe you can achieve such a thing?" That is the most dangerous moment, because what happens next determines the path of your future. If you silence your dream in that moment, you do more than give up on a goal. You deny the very possibility of who you could become. The greatest barrier to achievement is not the world, not the critics, not even the challenges along the way. It is the decision to abandon your vision. When you quiet your dream, you surrender the most powerful force you possess: belief. Without belief, no action has energy. Without belief, no effort has direction. But with belief, even small steps become powerful, because each one moves you closer to the life you imagined. Think of the stories we celebrate most in history. They are not tales of easy success. They are stories of resistance, of struggle, of persistence against the odds. The reason they inspire us is because they remind us of what is possible when someone refuses to surrender their dream. They remind us that human beings are capable of far more than the limits we accept for ourselves. And the truth is, your life can become such a story, not because it will be free of hardship, but because hardship will be the very thing that shapes your strength. When you feel that pressure to quiet your dream, understand this: the world does not test your vision to punish you, but to prove it. Every challenge is a question asked of you. How much do you truly want this? If you back away at the first sign of difficulty, your answer is clear. But if you continue, if you press forward despite resistance, you demonstrate that your dream is more than a passing thought. It is a conviction. That conviction is what transforms the invisible into the visible. It is a mistake to believe that success belongs only to the talented, the privileged, or the lucky. Success belongs to those who are willing to carry their dream when it is heavy, when it feels impossible, when others have abandoned theirs. Talent can open a door, but it is persistence that keeps it open. Privilege may give someone a head start, but it is endurance that carries them to the finish line. Luck may appear for a moment, but it fades. What remains is the steady hand of a person who refuses to let go of their vision. The danger of silencing your dream is not only that you lose the chance to achieve it. The greater danger is that you reshape yourself to fit a smaller life. Every time you quiet your vision, you train yourself to accept less than you are capable of. Over time, this acceptance hardens into habit, and habit hardens into identity. You begin to believe that you were never meant for more, that your dream was foolish, that a modest life is all that was possible for you. But deep inside, you will always know that you surrendered not because it was impossible, but because you chose comfort over courage. Ask yourself this: what is the cost of silencing your dream? Not in money, not in status, but in the person you could have become. The cost is the growth you never experienced, the strength you never discovered, the impact you never made. A quiet dream robs not only you but also the world of the gift you might have given it, for every dream realized has the power to inspire others, to create opportunities, to lift lives. When you silence your vision, that gift is lost, and the chain of possibility ends with you. So let the doubts come, but do not give them the final word. Let the critics speak, but do not hand them authority over your future. Let the challenges rise, but do not mistake them for walls. They are stepping stones disguised as obstacles. Hold your dream when it is easy, and hold it even tighter when it is hard. For in the very act of refusing to quiet your vision, you begin to shape yourself into the kind of person capable of achieving it. There is a kind of joy that only comes when you stay true to your dream. It is not the fleeting joy of comfort, nor the shallow joy of approval. It is the deep, enduring satisfaction of knowing you lived fully, that you honored the vision within you, that you did not allow fear to silence what you were meant to do. That joy is worth every struggle, every late night, every rejection. For in the end, it is not the easy road that fulfills us. It is the road that challenges us to rise to our full stature. A dream rarely arrives fully formed. More often it appears as a faint image, a fragile idea, like the outline of a painting not yet filled with color. At first, it may feel uncertain, almost fragile, and because it is fragile, it requires protection. It requires care, attention, and a patient hand. Just as no farmer expects a harvest the morning after planting a seed, no dream should be expected to flourish without time, work, and nourishment. Yet how many abandon their vision because the results do not appear instantly? They confuse the early stages of growth with failure, not realizing that the most important development is taking place beneath the surface, unseen by the eye. The principles of growth are the same for nature and for human ambition. The seed does not sprout simply because the farmer wishes it to. It grows because the soil has been prepared, the ground is watered, and the seasons are allowed to pass. In the same way, your dream will not appear simply because you want it to. It will grow only if you prepare your mind with knowledge, water your actions with effort, and allow the seasons of persistence to shape the outcome. Patience is not passive, it is active faith, the willingness to continue working even when the results are not yet visible. Many people give up because they measure progress only by immediate results. They forget that true success is often the accumulation of small, invisible efforts. The book is written one page at a time. The masterpiece is painted one stroke at a time. The great business is built one decision at a time. But in the beginning, when the progress feels slow, doubt whispers that nothing is happening. The truth, however, is that everything is happening. Growth is taking place in the unseen, just as the roots of a tree deepen long before its branches spread across the sky. It is also important to understand that the path of growth is not always in a straight line. Just as nature moves through cycles, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, so does the pursuit of a dream. There will be seasons of rapid progress, when opportunities seem abundant and everything moves forward with ease. There will also be seasons of winter, where progress seems hidden, where the world appears quiet, and where doubt can easily take root. But winter is not the end. It is preparation. It is the time when strength is being built, when endurance is being formed, when resilience is being shaped. Those who endure the winters of their dreams are the ones who live to see the harvest. To nurture a dream requires discipline. It means doing what must be done even when you do not feel like doing it. It means waking early, studying longer, practicing harder, and saying no to distractions that steal your time. Discipline is the daily act of aligning your behavior with your vision. Without it, even the brightest dream will wither. With it, even the smallest vision can grow into something extraordinary. Another essential element is faith. Not blind faith, not empty wishing, but the kind of faith that acts. Faith is believing in the unseen so strongly that you behave as though it is inevitable. The person who believes in their dream speaks differently, walks differently, and works differently. They do not wait for proof before acting. They create the proof through action. Just as the farmer plants seeds before the harvest exists, The dreamer must take steps before success is visible. This is not foolishness. It is the very foundation of achievement. But there is one more truth. A dream is not nurtured in isolation. Just as the seed needs sunlight, water, and rich soil, your vision requires the right environment. Surround yourself with those who encourage growth, who challenge you to rise higher, who remind you of the harvest when you are in the middle of winter. If you plant your vision in the soil of doubt, surrounded by negativity, it will struggle to grow. But if you place it among faith, knowledge, and persistence, it will flourish in time. Patience, discipline, faith, and the right environment. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. Without them, the dream remains fragile. With them, it gains strength until it becomes unstoppable. Too many people quit just before the breakthrough, not realizing how close they were to the harvest. The process tests you, but the process also shapes you. For in the end, the dream is not only about what you achieve, but who you become in the pursuit of it. And so, the lesson is clear: do not abandon your dream because it takes time. Do not mistake slow progress for failure. Do not misinterpret the silence of growth as absence. Trust the process, continue the work. Hold fast to your vision. For just as surely as the seed becomes a tree, the dream, when nurtured with faith and effort, will grow into reality. There is a quiet danger in settling for the ordinary. It is easy to mistake safety for fulfillment and comfort for happiness. But if you look closely, you will notice that those who live only for comfort often find themselves restless, uneasy, and unsatisfied. The reason is simple. The human spirit was not designed for mediocrity. We are designed to grow, to stretch, to expand into the fullest expression of our potential. When you choose to dream big, you are not indulging in fantasy. You are answering the very call of your nature. Mediocrity demands nothing from you. It asks for no courage, no sacrifice, no persistence. It will accept you as you are and leave you unchanged. But prosperity, growth, and true purpose demand more. They require vision, they require effort, and they require the willingness to be misunderstood for a time. The irony is that while mediocrity feels safe in the moment, it is the most dangerous choice of all. It slowly drains your spirit, numbs your imagination, and leaves you wondering, in the quiet hours of your life, what might have been if only you had dared to reach higher. The world we live in today is filled with examples of those who settled and those who soared. The difference is never the absence of obstacles, but the presence of determination. Those who soar are the ones who hold on to their dreams even when others laugh, even when resources are scarce, even when progress feels invisible. They are not content to accept life as it is handed to them. They insist on shaping life according to the vision inside of them. And in doing so, they leave behind a legacy that inspires others to rise. Consider how progress has always been made. It is never by the masses, but always by the few who refuse to blend into the crowd. The crowd says, "Be reasonable." The dreamer says, "Reasonable has never changed the world." The crowd says, "Stay safe." The dreamer says, "Safety is the enemy of growth." The crowd says, "This is how it has always been." The dreamer replies, "Then it is time for something new." Every leap forward in history began with an individual who would not quiet their vision, even when it seemed impossible. There is something extraordinary that happens when you give yourself permission to dream without limits. Your mind begins to stretch. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You begin to notice doors that were always there, but invisible to the eyes of fear. And once you have seen the possibilities of what could be, it becomes almost impossible to return to the small life of what merely is. That is why people who dream big, even if they face failure, live richer lives than those who never tried. For in striving for more, they discover parts of themselves that would have remained hidden. It is important to understand that dreaming big is not arrogance. It is responsibility. If you have been given the ability to imagine more, then you have also been given the responsibility to pursue it. The world does not advance when people settle for less. It advances when people demand more of themselves and more of the future. Your dream is not just for you. It may be the very thing that lights the path for someone else. To silence it is not only to deny yourself, but also to deny the countless others who might be lifted by the example of your courage. But make no mistake, dreaming big requires resilience. The greater the dream, the greater the resistance you will encounter. This is not a punishment. It is preparation. Resistance forces you to sharpen your vision, to strengthen your resolve, to prove that your desire is not a passing fancy but a true commitment. Every obstacle you face is a chance to grow into the person capable of carrying the dream you hold. Without the weight of resistance, you would not develop the strength required to achieve it. And while dreaming small may feel safer, it offers none of these rewards. A small dream will never call forth your full potential. It will never challenge you to rise, to endure, to innovate, to lead. Only a big dream has the power to wake you up in the morning with purpose, to pull you forward when you feel weary, to keep you alive with energy and direction. The size of your vision will determine the size of your life, because you will always grow in proportion to the challenge you set for yourself. So let others settle if they choose. Let them quiet their dreams in exchange for comfort. But know that you were made for more. Know that the restless longing within you is not a weakness but a signal, a reminder that mediocrity will never satisfy you. Choose instead to expand, to rise, to pursue the extraordinary. For while the ordinary asks for nothing, the extraordinary asks for everything. And it is in giving everything that you find the deepest meaning of all. There is a fire that lives inside every person, though for many it is only a flicker. That fire is the dream, the vision, the calling that whispers to you when the noise of the world grows quiet. Some ignore it, some smother it, some pretend it was never there. But those who choose to protect it, to feed it, and to let it guide them discover that it has the power to light their entire path. A life without a dream is like a journey without a destination. You may move, but you will never truly arrive. The reason so many people feel lost is not because they lack ability, but because they lack direction. A dream provides that direction. It is a compass pointing toward a future worth striving for. Without it, days blur together, filled with routine but empty of meaning. With it, even the smallest tasks take on significance because you understand they are steps along a greater journey. A dream turns work into purpose, effort into investment, and obstacles into teachers. The strength of a dream lies not in how loudly you declare it, but in how quietly you hold to it when no one else believes. It is easy to speak of ambition when the crowd is cheering, when opportunities are abundant, when success feels near. But the true test comes in solitude, when doubts surround you, when the road is long, when the applause is absent. In those moments, many surrender. But those who do not, those who cling to their vision as a torch in the dark, are the ones who eventually see it realized. Every dream requires sacrifice. To move toward one future means leaving another behind. Comfort must be exchanged for growth, certainty for risk, approval for authenticity. At first, this feels like loss. But in time, you come to understand it is not loss at all. It is exchange. You are trading something small for something greater, something temporary for something lasting. The cost of a dream is always high, but the cost of silencing it is higher. For while sacrifice is temporary, regret endures. The pursuit of a dream does something remarkable to the human spirit. It sharpens the mind, strengthens the will, and awakens qualities you may never have known you possessed. When you are called to rise beyond your limits, you discover that your limits were not fixed at all. You find courage where you once felt fear, creativity where you once felt stuck, persistence where you once felt wary. The dream pulls these qualities out of you, not by offering ease, but by demanding growth. It is also important to remember that the pursuit of a dream is not a solitary journey. While it begins within you, it inevitably touches others. Every step you take forward sends a signal to those watching that it is possible to rise above circumstance, to reach beyond limitation, to live for something greater. Your dream is not only a light for your own path, it can become a light for those walking in darkness. And often, the greatest impact of a dream is not the achievement itself, but the inspiration it gives to others. Do not underestimate the power of example. People are always watching, often in silence. They may never tell you, but your courage to pursue your vision can awaken their own. Your persistence may remind them not to give up. Your faith may strengthen theirs. In this way, your dream is not just personal. It is part of a larger story, one that ripples outward in ways you may never fully see. But this ripple cannot happen if the dream is quieted. A silenced dream helps no one. It withers in the mind, fades in the heart, and disappears from the world. And when too many silence their vision, society stagnates. Progress halts. The fire of possibility grows dim. The future depends on those willing to protect their dreams, not only for their own sake, but for the sake of everyone who will benefit from the courage they displayed. So the choice before you is clear. You can quiet the dream and live safely within the walls of the familiar, or you can hold it high and let it lead you into the unknown. One path promises comfort. The other promises growth. One path preserves the ordinary, the other creates the extraordinary. And while the extraordinary is never guaranteed, the journey toward it is always worth taking. For in striving toward your dream, you do not merely reach for a goal, you rise into the fullest expression of who you were meant to be. The journey of life is not measured only by the years we spend, but by the courage with which we spend them. Each of us is entrusted with a vision, a dream planted deep within, meant to guide us toward the fullest expression of our potential. We are not here merely to survive the passing of time. We are here to shape it, to leave behind evidence that we dared, that we believed, that we pursued what stirred our souls. There will always be voices that tell you to quiet your dreams, to settle, to be satisfied with less than what you feel is possible. But the great truth is that the world has always been moved forward by those who refuse to silence the call within them. Every invention, every masterpiece, every movement that lifted humanity began with someone who protected their vision despite doubt, fear, and resistance. The question then is not whether you have the power to change your life. You do. The question is whether you will honor that power. Will you allow yourself to imagine boldly, to act with persistence, to endure the struggles, and to hold fast when others let go? For the moment you choose to say yes to your dream, the direction of your life begins to shift. Every day becomes purposeful. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone. Every victory, no matter how small, becomes proof that the future is being shaped by your hands. And so, as you walk forward, carry this truth with you. Greatness is not reserved for the few, it is reserved for the faithful. It belongs to those who dare to listen to the quiet whisper of their vision and turn it into a song the world can hear. Protect that vision. Feed it. Walk with it. Through seasons of uncertainty and seasons of triumph. And when the day comes that you look back on the road you have traveled, you will know with certainty that you lived not in hesitation, but in pursuit of what was possible. Do not quiet your dream, for it is not only your own life it will transform. It is the lives of countless others who will be touched, uplifted, and inspired because you had the courage to live it.